And that is only possible in a free market system. A market that allows them the freedom to choose the job they want. A market that allows them to use that job to decide what's best for their family. This past year we had a witness summit in power in Washington, trying to cram their socialist ideology down our throats while our national economy is burned to the ground. What is happening to our country that we all love? We obviously have some serious problems right now, folks. I believe that our country is in peril. Americans are not interested in Obama's theories of a utopian society. We're interested in our families, our word, the protection of our country, protection from enemies both foreign and domestic. We're fed up and we've had enough. Now I promise to do whatever I can to stop this nonsense. I promise to raise my voice, our voices, in opposition to those who are bent on destroying the great nation. So where are we going? What must we do? What actions do we take? In order to change the direction of our country, I contend there needs to be a change in our elected representatives. We need to vote out those who support the current failing policies. We need to take a huge American-made broom and make a clean sweep. We must sweep them out of our people's house, just like they did in Massachusetts. Here in our 15th District of Ohio, Mary Jo Kilroy is currently our congressional representative. Mary Jo must go. I stole that from you last year. As we saw in the last election, we cannot defeat her with a, sorry Steve, moderate. In order to defeat her, we need a conservative, a true conservative, a total conservative Republican. Not a middle of the road, supporter parts of the Republican platform, because if you're only part conservative, then you're also part liberal. That is why the Republican Party lost the last election. We lost our conservative voters. They voted for the independents. They refused to vote for moderate or part conservative, part liberal, someone who stands in the middle of the road. Because every parent knows and teaches their child that standing in the middle of the road is dangerous and will get you run over. I chose to challenge Mr. Stivers for the Republican nomination because I believe that he would lose to Mr. Kilroy in 2010, just like he did in 2008. I believe that Mr. Stivers lost for two basic reasons.
Okay, I thank you. Your 10 minutes is up.
Well, if you wouldn't have interrupted me so many,
right. Thank you.
I'm almost done.
Well, I appreciate that you had in excess of 10 minutes, and we do have to live by the rules. And so, thank you very much. Is that right? The audience has spoken. Good speech, by the way.
He was the only one that trusted him.
Let me have 2 more minutes.
All right, 2 minutes to wrap it up. I might have to give Steve Stivers some rebuttal time, though, if you're going to make it. All right, thanks.
Words don't hurt.
2 minutes, wrap it up.
Words do not hurt. We're here to hear communicates. You don't mind, Steve, do you? We've already agreed, so you can take the heat. First, Steve did not adhere to the Republican platform to protect the life and rights of the unborn. He's more aligned with the liberal Democrats and Obamacare on this issue than he is with conservatives. Secondly, in 2008, Mrs. Kilroy hammered Mr. Stivers for being a bank lobbyist. Mr. Stivers has been funded tens of thousands of dollars by dozens of bankers and many big bank political action committees outside of Ohio. That is transparent, factual information documented on the Federal Election Commission website. Check it out. Mrs. Kilroy would link Mr. Stivers' campaign financial support to the use of our tax dollars that have provided huge multi-million-dollar bonuses paid to bank executives outside of Ohio and to AIG executives. A recent poll clearly demonstrates that 86% of Americans are absolutely furious with that giveaway of our hard-earned tax dollars. Mrs. Kilroy will use her hammer and nail Mr. Stivers with these facts. If he's the nominee, she would pound on him for this issue 24/7. The noise of her pounding would be so loud and so effective that Mr. Stivers would lose once again. Even the state GOP is having doubts about Mr. Stivers' chances at defeating Mrs. Kilroy. In fact, the Rothenberg Political Report wrote on January the 14th of this year, filed under state GOP officials, asked Steve Stivers to drop out of the congressional race. Now, one has to wonder why the state GOP would ask Mr. Stivers to drop out of this race so late in the campaign. Maybe the state GOP is uneasy with his support for abortion and gay marriage. They should be. Perhaps they question his support for the abolishment of the 17th Amendment of our United States Constitution. They should. And while we're at the topic of Mr. Stivers, what does he stand for?
Okay, we're gonna call it off. You've pressed the limits, Mr. Adams, and I'd like to give, since Steve only used a few minutes, I'd like to give him the opportunity to rebut that, if you would, Steve. Thank you.
Sure.
And I caution everybody on this time element thing. It's important that we live with the time constraints, madam, and so that's what we want to do. And if you're a gentleman, Mr. Adams, you'll observe that regulation.
I'll just take a couple minutes, and I'm not going to address every point. We'll talk about a lot of these issues tonight. I assume they'll come up, and I'll tell you my position on every issue as it comes up. But I will say that I ran a tough race in 2008, and I lost by about 2,000 votes. In a year when Obama got 54% in this congressional district, I only lost by 0.6%. And in fact, two national radio service. He referred to Stu Rothenberg. Stu Rothenberg moved this race from a toss-up to lean Republican because I got in the race. And also Charlie Cook, another respected political pundit, did the same thing. I am a conservative. We'll talk about the issues later. I'm happy to talk about the issues as they come up. But you'll hear my position on all the issues. And I look forward to a spirited debate throughout the campaign. Thank you.
Thank you. You were taken on that, so we'll accept your opening statements and we'll move on to the rapid round of questions. How this is going to work is I'm going to ask the question, and we'll start with David, and then we'll work our way through the three candidates. Same question. Yes, sir.
Point of order.